Daniel's life was filled with the symphony of music. As a talented musician, he had spent years perfecting his craft, honing his skills on the piano and violin, and filling the world with the sweet sounds of his compositions. He was a virtuoso, a maestro, a musical prodigy, and he had always believed that his purpose in life was to share his gift with the world. Daniel had been born into a family of musicians. His parents were both professional violinists, and from a young age, he was immersed in the world of classical music. He had shown an exceptional talent for the violin, and by the time he was a teenager, he was already performing with prestigious orchestras and wowing audiences with his virtuosity. But he didn't stop at the violin. He also had an innate ability to play the piano with such emotion and grace that he often left his listeners in tears. He was known throughout the city for his music, and he had dreams of becoming a world-renowned musician. His fingers danced on the piano keys and moved gracefully across the strings of his violin, creating melodies that were pure magic. Music was his life, and he couldn't imagine a world without it. One sunny afternoon, after a successful performance, Daniel was on his way to meet his parents for a celebratory dinner. He had just signed a contract to perform with a renowned symphony orchestra, a dream come true. He was riding his bicycle, feeling the wind in his hair and the warmth of the sun on his face. The city was alive with the sounds of people going about their daily lives, and the streets were bustling with activity. As Daniel approached an intersection, he had a fleeting moment of hesitation. Something didn't feel right, but before he could react, a car ran a red light, crashing into him with a deafening screech. The world around him spun into chaos as he was thrown from his bicycle and onto the hard pavement. He lay there, dazed and in excruciating pain, as sirens wailed in the distance. His parents arrived at the hospital, frantic with worry. The accident had left Daniel with multiple injuries, including a fractured skull, broken ribs, and a shattered arm. The doctors assured them that he would eventually heal physically, but the news that crushed their hearts was that Daniel had suffered severe head trauma, resulting in a profound loss of hearing. As Daniel regained consciousness, he found himself in a world of silence. The hospital room was a sea of muted colors, and the hushed conversations around him were a mere whisper. His parents, with tears in their eyes, tried to communicate with him, but their words were lost in the void of his newfound deafness. The silence was overwhelming, suffocating, and he felt as though he had been cut off from the world he had known and loved. Days turned into weeks, and Daniel's physical wounds slowly began to heal. The pain in his body lessened, but the pain in his heart grew with every passing moment of silence. His parents, both accomplished violinists, tried to provide comfort and support, but the gulf between them was deepening. They played their violins with exquisite skill, the notes soaring into the air, but for Daniel, their music was no more than a vibration that he could feel but not truly hear. One day, as the realization of his condition settled in, Daniel's mother, Elizabeth, approached him with a determined look in her eyes. She held out her violin, a beautiful instrument with a deep, resonant tone. "Daniel, I know you can't hear the music, but you can still feel it," she said. "I want you to feel the music through the vibrations. Let me play for you." With great reluctance, Daniel agreed, his heart heavy with despair. He placed his hand on the body of the violin, feeling the vibrations as his mother's bow danced across the strings. The music, though silent to his ears, vibrated through his body, and for the first time since the accident, he felt a glimmer of hope. Over the following weeks, Elizabeth continued to play for Daniel, and he began to sense the beauty of the music through the vibrations. He could feel the passion and emotion in her playing, and it touched his soul in a way he had never experienced before. As the days passed, he started to communicate with his parents through sign language and lip reading, slowly bridging the gap between their worlds. One evening, while Daniel and his parents were sitting in their living room, his father, Robert, had an idea. He picked up his violin and began to play a piece he had composed specifically for Daniel. The music flowed from his heart, and as the notes resonated through the room, Daniel's face lit up with recognition. He recognized the melody as it was one he had heard his father play many times before. Tears filled Daniel's eyes as he watched his father's expression, the love and connection between them transcending the barrier of silence. He nodded, indicating his understanding and appreciation. Robert continued to play, pouring his heart and soul into the music, knowing that even if his son couldn't hear the notes, he could feel the love and emotion behind them. As the days turned into months, Daniel began to regain his strength and adapt to his new reality. He spent hours practicing his violin, focusing on the vibrations and the feelings he could evoke through his music. He could no longer create the symphonies he had once envisioned, but he found a new way to express himself through the instrument he loved. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the city, Daniel decided to play for his parents. He had composed a piece, a reflection of his journey through silence and the resilience he had discovered within himself. As he played, the music was a bittersweet melody that told the story of his pain, his acceptance, and his determination to find new meaning in life. His parents listened, their eyes filled with tears of pride and love. They had always known that Daniel was special, but witnessing his transformation was a testament to the strength of the human spirit. His music, though silent to his ears, spoke volumes to their hearts, and they were overwhelmed with emotion. Word of Daniel's story began to spread throughout the city, and he became an inspiration to many. His performances, though unconventional, touched the souls of those who had the privilege of experiencing them. His compositions were not just about sound, they were about the depth of feeling and the power of resilience. One evening, after a particularly moving performance, a woman named Isabella approached Daniel. She had long, flowing auburn hair and a warm smile that reached her eyes. Isabella was a music therapist who worked with individuals with disabilities, helping them find healing and expression through music. "I've heard about your journey, Daniel," Isabella said. "I believe we can do incredible things together. Music is a universal language, and your story is an inspiration. I'd like to work with you, help you explore new avenues in music therapy." Daniel was intrigued by the idea, and he agreed to meet with Isabella to discuss the possibilities. Over the next few weeks, they embarked on a journey of discovery, exploring how he could use his unique perspective on music to help others. Together, they began working with children with hearing impairments, using vibrations and the tactile experience of music to connect with them. They also collaborated with seniors in nursing homes, bringing the joy of music to those who had lost touch with the world around them. Daniel's music became a bridge between the silence he experienced and the world of sound, and he found a new purpose in helping others find their own voices through music. As Daniel continued to grow as a musician and a music therapist, he couldn't help but think about his dream of performing with a symphony orchestra. It had been a dream deferred, but he was determined to make it a reality. He knew it wouldn't be easy, but he was willing to face any challenge to share his music with the world once more. He began to seek out opportunities to collaborate with orchestras and compose pieces that incorporated the unique perspective he had gained through his journey. His compositions were a fusion of traditional and modern, blending the richness of classical music with the depth of emotion he had discovered in silence. One day, an opportunity arose to audition for a renowned symphony orchestra. The conductor, a world-famous maestro named Alessandro, had heard of Daniel's story and was intrigued. He agreed to meet with Daniel and listen to his music. The audition day arrived, and Daniel stood before the orchestra, his heart pounding with anticipation. The conductor raised his baton, and the orchestra began to play one of Daniel's compositions. Daniel, holding his violin close to his chest, felt the vibrations of the music surging through his body. He closed his eyes, pouring his soul into the performance, and he knew that this was his chance to show the world the power of resilience. As the final notes of the composition faded away, there was a moment of silence, a pregnant pause that seemed to stretch on forever. Then, the conductor, Alessandro, stood up, his eyes filled with emotion. "Daniel, you have created something truly extraordinary," Alessandro said. "Your music speaks to the depths of the human soul. You have a place in this orchestra, and your story is an inspiration to us all." Tears of joy streamed down Daniel's face as the members of the orchestra cheered and welcomed him into their midst. He had achieved his dream, not in the way he had initially envisioned, but in a way that was uniquely his own. The news of Daniel's triumph spread like wildfire, and he soon found himself performing with symphony orchestras around the world. His compositions were celebrated for their emotional depth and the unique perspective he brought to the world of classical music. With Isabella by his side, they continued their work in music therapy, touching the lives of countless individuals and proving that the human spirit could triumph over adversity. Their work was a testament to the power of resilience and the capacity of music to heal and connect. In the years that followed, Daniel never regained his hearing, but he had found a new way to listen to the world. He listened with his heart, his soul, and the vibrations that resonated through his body when he played his violin. He had discovered a new language of music, one that transcended the boundaries of sound, and he had become a maestro in a symphony of resilience in the triumph of the human spirit. And so, the talented musician named Daniel, who had once lost his hearing in a tragic accident, had not only adapted but had found a new meaning in his life. He had shown the world the power of pursuing one's passion despite adversity, and his music continued to touch the hearts and souls of all who had the privilege of hearing it. Daniel's story was a reminder of the indomitable human spirit, a testament to the power of perseverance and the pursuit of one's passion. He had become an inspiration to countless individuals, proving that even in the face of the most profound challenges, the human soul could rise above and create beauty in the world. As the years passed, Daniel's legacy lived on. His compositions were performed by orchestras, and his work in music therapy continued to change lives. He had become a symbol of hope, a beacon of light in a world that sometimes felt dark and unforgiving. In the twilight of his life, Daniel continued to play his violin and share the language of vibrations with those who needed it most. He had come to understand that his journey, with all its ups and downs, had been a gift, a path that had led him to a deeper understanding of the human experience. One evening, as he played a hauntingly beautiful melody, his fingers moving gracefully across the strings of his violin, he felt a profound sense of contentment. The music resonated through his body, and he knew that he had lived a life filled with purpose, love, and the unwavering pursuit of his passion. As the final notes of his composition faded into the stillness of the room, he closed his eyes, and for a brief moment, he heard the music of the universe, a melody that transcended sound and silence, a symphony of resilience that echoed through the ages. Daniel's story, though it had come to an end, would live on in the hearts of those he had touched. His life had been a testament to the power of the human spirit, a reminder that adversity could be transformed into beauty, and that the pursuit of one's passion was a journey worth taking. And so, the talented musician named Daniel, who had once lost his hearing in a tragic accident, had not only adapted but had found a new meaning in his life. He had shown the world the power of pursuing one's passion despite adversity, and his music continued to touch the hearts and souls of all who had the privilege of hearing it. As Daniel's fame grew, he found himself traveling the world, performing with orchestras and sharing his message of resilience through music. Each new city he visited brought its own challenges and opportunities. In Paris, he collaborated with a famous pianist who had also faced adversity in her life. In Tokyo, he performed with a traditional Japanese orchestra, blending the melodies of the East with his Western classical roots. One of the most unforgettable experiences was a journey to the Amazon rainforest. There, Daniel collaborated with indigenous musicians, learning about their unique approach to music and the deep connection they had with nature. He was deeply moved by the beauty of the rainforest and its people, and he composed a piece that captured the essence of this remote and mystical place. During a visit to New York City, Daniel had a chance encounter with Isabella, who had continued her work in music therapy. They hadn't seen each other in years, and their reunion was filled with warmth and joy. Isabella introduced him to her new project, a music therapy program for veterans with PTSD. Daniel was eager to lend his support and composed a piece specifically for the veterans, using the healing power of music to help them on their journey to recovery. In Vienna, the city of classical music, Daniel had an unexpected encounter with a renowned composer named Victor. Victor had lost his hearing due to a medical condition but had continued to compose using a unique system of vibrations and touch. Their meeting was a meeting of kindred spirits, and they decided to collaborate on a composition that would combine their distinct approaches to music. As the years passed, Daniel met a remarkable woman named Elena, who shared his passion for music and his dedication to helping others. They fell in love and eventually got married, forming a loving family that embraced the power of music to heal and inspire. Together, they continued Daniel's work in music therapy and found new ways to reach those in need. Daniel and Elena's love for music was passed down to their children, who grew up in a household filled with melodies and vibrations. Their daughter, Sophia, showed a remarkable talent for the cello, while their son, Luca, displayed an affinity for the violin. The family performed together, creating a unique musical ensemble that touched the hearts of all who listened. As Daniel grew older, he knew that his time on this earth was limited, but he had no regrets, for he had lived a life filled with purpose, love, and the pursuit of his passion. He continued to compose and perform, leaving a lasting legacy of resilience and the triumph of the human spirit. In the twilight of his life, Daniel sat down at his beloved piano, his fingers tracing the keys with a sense of nostalgia. His hands, which had once danced with such grace and precision, had aged, but his spirit remained as vibrant as ever. He played a final composition, a reflection on his incredible journey, and the music filled the room with a profound sense of beauty and acceptance. As the last notes faded away, Daniel closed his eyes, feeling the vibrations of the piano beneath his fingertips. He knew that his time had come to an end, but he was at peace. He had shown the world the power of pursuing one's passion despite adversity, and his music had touched the hearts and souls of countless individuals. And so, the talented musician named Daniel, who had once lost his hearing in a tragic accident, had not only adapted but had found a new meaning in his life. He had become a symbol of hope and inspiration, a reminder that no matter the challenges one faced, the human spirit could rise above them. His story, intricate and profound, would continue to resonate through the ages, a testament to the enduring power of music and the resilience of the human spirit. In the wake of Daniel's passing, his music and message continued to inspire generations. His legacy lived on through his family, who continued to share their love for music and the importance of perseverance. His children, Sophia and Luca, both became accomplished musicians in their own right, and they dedicated their careers to carrying on their father's work. Sophia and Luca formed a foundation in their father's name, the Daniel Resonance Foundation, dedicated to bringing the healing power of music to communities in need around the world. They organized music therapy programs in war-torn regions, refugee camps, and underserved communities, using the lessons their father had taught them about the universal language of music and its ability to transcend boundaries. The collaboration between Daniel and Victor, the composer who had lost his hearing, was remembered as a historic moment in the world of music. In his later years, Victor's work was rediscovered, and his compositions, created using a unique system of vibrations and touch, were performed by orchestras around the world. Victor's journey, inspired by Daniel's resilience, became a symbol of creativity and determination. Isabella, the music therapist who had once worked with Daniel, continued to make a significant impact in the field of music therapy. She expanded her programs to include not only veterans but also individuals with various forms of trauma and disabilities. Her innovative methods, influenced by Daniel's unique perspective, were at the forefront of the healing arts. To honor Daniel's enduring impact on the world of music and therapy, a grand tribute concert was organized in a world-famous concert hall. Renowned musicians, including Victor, Isabella, Sophia, and Luca, performed Daniel's compositions, combining their own talents and unique approaches to create a once-in-a-lifetime event. The concert was a testament to the power of collaboration and the ability of music to heal and unite. The Daniel Resonance Foundation expanded its reach, creating a global network of musicians, therapists, and educators who shared Daniel's vision. They worked together to provide musical education and therapy to underserved communities, believing that music had the power to transform lives and bridge the gaps between people. During one of the Foundation's music therapy missions in the Amazon rainforest, a remarkable reunion occurred. Daniel's family met with the indigenous musicians he had collaborated with years earlier. The deep connections formed during that visit had endured, and they celebrated their shared love for music and the forest that had inspired Daniel's unforgettable composition. In the hearts of all those who had been touched by Daniel's story and music, his legacy continued to resonate. His enduring message of resilience and the pursuit of one's passion had become a source of inspiration for countless individuals. The story of the talented musician who had once lost his hearing in a tragic accident had not only adapted but had found a new meaning in his life, leaving an indelible mark on the world. As time marched on, Sophia and Luca's children embraced the family's musical tradition. They, too, showed remarkable talent and a deep passion for music. The cycle continued as a new generation of musicians, therapists, and educators emerged, carrying the torch of Daniel's legacy and his belief in the transformative power of music. To mark the passing of several decades, a grand finale concert was organized to celebrate the enduring influence of Daniel's story. Musicians, therapists, and individuals whose lives had been changed by Daniel's legacy converged on a monumental stage. The concert was a testament to the lasting impact of one man's journey, his resilience, and his unwavering commitment to the beauty and healing power of music. As the final performance came to a close, there was a moment of silence in the auditorium, a collective pause to reflect on the remarkable journey that had begun with a talented musician named Daniel. The legacy he had left was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the boundless capacity of music to heal and inspire. And so, the story of the talented musician named Daniel, who had once lost his hearing in a tragic accident, had not only adapted but had found a new meaning in his life. His journey had become a timeless saga, a symbol of hope and inspiration, a melody that continued to echo through the ages. The world had been touched by his enduring story, intricate and profound, a testament to the power of the human spirit and the unending resonance of music.